Shalom, and welcome to Psychology of the Parsha for Parsha Terumah. Parsha Terumah speaks about the construction of the tabernacle, the Mishkan. That is the temple which was mobile, which was a temporary one, albeit it was used for many years, and it was intended for use while they traveled in the desert to erect it and dismantle it every time they traveled, and later when they entered Israel until they build the permanent house of God, the permanent structure known as the Bet HaMikdash on top of the Temple Mount, Har HaMoriah, Mount Moriah in Jerusalem, in Yerushalayim. But it's interesting that the name of the Parsha is Terumah, which Terumah means an offering. Terumah means a donation. Why? Because in the beginning of the Parsha, we find that Hashem actually solicited donations. He says to Moshe, speak to the people of Israel, to children of Israel, and they shall take from me an offering from each man, from every man that his heart impels him to generosity, meaning in accordance with their generosity, shall you give my offering, shall you give this donation. Why? Why did it start with this? What is Hashem telling us with this message? You know, if you think about it, psychologically, most people, when they hear about this big, grand project, their first reaction is, and most probably, and most likely, justifiably, I'm just a little person. I'm not some big mammoth construction company. I'm not the government. I don't have endless coffers. I don't have some Swiss account that can provide the financing for this, so I got no part of this. It's got nothing to do with me. And there's an automatic shut-off in the person's mind, in the person's psyche, thinking that this is not for me. It's a great project. It's a very noble and justified thing, but I got no connection to it. And that's the message that Hashem is sending us here. Think about it. Hashem is saying the objective is not exclusively to have that Mishkan. It's not just the end result that counts over here, but also, and perhaps mostly, what leads us to that, what brings to that. And that, Hashem says, is each and every individual's contribution. That's what I want it to be. Hashem could have very well provided all the means for this. He did a very good job in providing them food and sustenance every single day. He did a great job in providing them as much water as they need for drinking purposes, for bathing purposes, with all healing powers. Hashem did a fantastic job in getting them out of Egypt and providing them all the riches that they had. In fact, we know that it says that the poorest, the least, that they took out, that an individual took out with them from Egypt, was 90 donkeys laden with goods. You know what that means? That's the poorest Jew. Imagine what the richest Jew looked like, how they fared. So if Hashem wants just the end result, the end product, no problem. Here's the gold, Moses. Here's a truckload of silver. Here's copper. Just make it happen. Or maybe, poof, miracle. Here's the whole edifice. That's not what Hashem desires. When it comes to building a dwelling place for Hashem, as Hashem says here, they shall make for me a sanctuary, and I will dwell amongst them. And as you've certainly already known, the sages point out, it doesn't say, and I'll dwell in it, but it says, I'll dwell in them, amongst them. It's each and every individual that Hashem desires and Hashem seeks to dwell in. It's each and every individual that Hashem desires their connection, their personal contribution. That's what counts. That's what makes this so special. So when you hear about a project, when you hear about a godly project, such as this, that connection to Hashem, building Judaism, making a better world, don't allow yourself to have that instinctive negative thought, that instinctive negative feeling of, how do I fit into this picture? Who am I? What am I? Remember that Hashem, when it comes to the biggest of things, is when He truly wants each and every individual's contribution, no matter how small, no matter how little we might think it is. May Hashem always provide for you, for us, the means to contribute materially and spiritually to His world, to making a dwelling place for Him, to making the world a better place. Shalom.